Hello, hello, Futera Nation. Welcome to episode 9 of the Susu podcast. As always, it's a pleasure to have you. I'm Plants, the dumb American, speaking about a sport he doesn't know about, but that's why we have the experts on the line. Coach George in the middle, it's good to see you. And Blue Clat on the far side of the screen, our historian, strategist. I don't know, Blue, you got a bunch of different hats you wear for the club. Gentlemen, it's a pleasure to have you on this episode 9 where we'll be recapping the fifth and sixth games. Over to you, Coach. How are we doing today?
I'm good. Can't complain. Excited really to talk about it. This is the exact reason I pushed off the podcast is to sort of have a little catch up. I didn't manage to catch the last game fully, missed a lot of drama, so I'm excited to hear what happened and give a couple of thoughts, hopefully, to prepare for next season.
That's what we love to hear. Yeah, and not no spoiler, but you got your 5-3-2 tactic in there, so we'll be able to talk through that and the positive and negatives, what happened there. Blue Clat, over to you. How are you doing today? Pumped for episode 9?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Uh, been a lot of politics behind the scenes, isn't it? A lot of well, not politics, the wrong way to put it, but a lot of chatter going on. So it's all goes, a lot to talk about, but don't want to get too deep into things.
Yeah, no, fair enough. So for folks tuning in, what we're going to talk about today, Game 5, Game 6 recap. We also had some images floating around the Discord of some of the lads when they were younger. We got to talk about the Susu card game as well, which was dropped. So a lot of musings around the club. So get started here. I'll go first with what happened this week. Kind of what in the world of Futera do we want to bring up? First one here, we got the Susu card game. So as we jump over to screen share, this was the graphic that was dropped in the Discord. A new card game dropped by Futera. Pretty sweet. A lot of the graphics on here we'll recognize from the NFT collection, the clubs being represented. But just overall, right? I think they were highlighting this at the Malaysia card show in Kuala Lumpur. I think it's always cool to see the club doing new things, really doubling down on their strengths, which is the card business.
There's a
Pretty
lot
sweet.
more. It's a
Any
manga
comments from
style,
you
isn't it?
guys?
Manga style, this one, isn't it? They turned it a lot more manga compared to sort of the other iteration with the AI.
Yeah, with
I think
with
it's much more artist led.
agreed, agreed. And it's interesting because it seems like almost a blend of their core competency, which is being a card company, and then also Liga AI bringing some of
Yeah.
that in. So we don't know anything more than you guys know, but it's interesting to see them continue to develop and look at new ways of getting the brand out there.
So,
Anything
so
from you, Coach?
what is this then? What is this then?
So
I
basically,
didn't
what
see
happens
this.
is it's a bit like I don't know if you've ever seen sort of someone playing Pokemon or something like that. They'll essentially have like a mat in front of them with
Yeah.
space for their cards to go on, and it's going to be much the same with this. I haven't seen a full game. What I've seen is them sitting down at a desk with a mat on the table with various different cards on them, playing against each other. So I'm guessing it's going to be down that route, sort of Pokemon or Magic the Gathering. Each card's going to have its
So it's
own
not, but it's not
attributes.
football based though.
It's football themed.
Okay.
So you have a goalie, defender, midfield, and attackman. I think there's four striker. Sorry, there's four positions, and then there's like a different two different decks of cards that you'll pull out, kind of like play cards. The goal is to obviously score goals, and it seems like there's a referee card that can kind of throw havoc into the game. A shout out to Tim. It looks like the cards are actually a mixture of real Futera United players, as well as you can see on the screen here some of these animated stuff. So I think there's a lot more to come from the club on this one, but cool to see them getting into the card game and blending our Futera Susu lore into it.
I think it's great because we've had the sort of like the Liga AI thing set up. A big company came sniffing around that, which then meant that they had to wait for that company to make a decision. That company essentially pulled out in the end, which then left them having missed a boat essentially. So I think it's a great way of getting what they were going to do with Liga AI into a different format. still being able to use it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see that one shakes out. All right, on to
Yeah.
the next one. The club announced a U18 youth tournament, which was cool. We were one of the 4 clubs that participated in it. The results didn't go our way so much, but here's a picture of the young guys on the bench with the kits. Pretty cool to see that Futura actually put this on. So that was pretty sweet to show that we were trying to invest furthermore. Any comments from you guys about how that youth tournament went? Kind of what it means for the club? Any impact there?
Just the blue socks on a black kit. They're the PSW socks. No, it's great. I mean, we need an under 18s team. It's we've got an academy, we've got a full men's team. We need that link between the two so you can get the kids training with the adults. You can get them training in the same formation that the first team's playing, and you can see who's ready to play for the first team. So I think it's a extremely positive step for the club, regardless of how the tournament went in terms of that under 18s tournament they played in. So yeah, I'm over the moon. Over the moon, we've got an under 18s team now because I think it's progression that the club needs. We need to produce our own talent as much as possible. We've recently had a PSW graduate get into the full Thai national team, playing for Myang Tong. So if if our academy is producing players that are good enough to play for the full national team, we need those players coming through our team on the way. Under 18s teams are a perfect way to get them through. George knows more about that than me. That's his job.
I think, yeah, definitely having a youth set up Resi's team, under 18s team is the way we should be moving forwards with. That's how you build a system, you build a culture environment where you have that progression of the Resis under 18s come through, they have the style of play there around the players, you build that rapport, um, which is, yeah, it's a great step forward having and also having like I think is it PSW is our sort of academy,
Yep.
so it's sort of that sort of having that link is good to have them having a aim to go forwards and keep them inside the system.
Yeah, rather than it just being an aim to be sold or an aim to get into any T3
Yeah.
or whatever they can not worry about that so much. They've always got a route.
Yeah, and
Also gives Gibbs a bit easier as well.
well, I think also with given how sporadic our season has been, 6 games, and then we wait multiple months, and we never really know when there's games. If you have a chance to get some of the younger players more games, for example, Beam, number 8, looked like a boy amongst men, a man amongst boys in this tournament. Again, then he showed up in the next 2 games. We'll talk about 5 and 6, him coming off the bench, and he looked quite good. So maybe it was just getting him confidence, getting a little bit of fitness in. But yeah, good to see that.
There's no point in keep beating a dead donkey, but that 6 game season is just horrendous for us. One one injury and you're out for the season. It's
Yeah.
just so yeah. It gives us a larger pool of players to pick from as well. I asked Mark who looks like the most ready to come through, and he said a player called Tong, who plays attacking mid and centre mid, which could be a good replacement for the likes of Dew and other people who could be moving on. So, I mean, if you tell me that somebody's centre mid, attacking mid, I'm assuming that they're a little bit more technical on the ball and hopefully a little bit more creative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well said. Well, I think that's a fantastic transition. Let's go ahead and here and show the starting lineups for Game 5. Now, I want to preface this. Our last time we were on air, Game 4, we buried the team. I think the highlight of it was the name of the stream was Game 4, The Disaster, right? Maybe a little bit of an overreaction, maybe not. Could be fully accurate. Regardless, it lit a fire. And I want to talk about specifically one aspect of it is for a while, us on this pod, George, people in the Discord have been claiming for a new formation, a 5-3-2. And it seems like the club took that serious.
Three,
5
3-5-2.
There we go. Okay, proper. So, George, they did implement that. For those
Yeah.
watching, I just want to say we were very proud of the effort that the team put in. It seems like that fire was lit not only from the coaching staff to management, relaying what we were saying to the coaches on the sideline. We love that part of being interactive as holders. So I want to pass it over to you, Coach. Before, what were your thoughts about that game? And then I do want to get into the vote that went into it, because I think there was a couple interesting aspects that we voted on.
I think that game was, you could see, obviously, I'll put out them, I'm biased to start with, but I think the system just worked a lot better with the players we had. You could see players getting on the ball, but also you have to remember they're learning that formation as well as playing it. I think going forward, we look a lot better, getting the ball wide, we look more comfortable on the ball. I think, yeah, we just looked a lot more comfortable. I think I missed their goal, which I think came from our mistake. If I'm right. But I think, yeah, I think like the formation worked, the system I think worked. We've got the players fit around it. We've got so many options as well of players can rotate and fill in, and it's just, yeah, I think it worked really well. And I think the one caveat is I wish that we did it sooner and actually worked on it in the holiday break and that sort of thing.
Blue,
Yeah,
what
in
do
the
you
New
think?
Year period. Yeah, I was just proud of the coaches for getting it working on the pitch within such a
Yeah,
short space of time. And it just shows how adaptable the team is, because sometimes they don't think they're that adaptable, and they are adaptable. They can adapt to different situations, and as I say, we asked them to do this. They did it quickly and did it well. So, I was quite happy. I was quite proud to say of the coaches and the team for producing that sort of. As I say, the goal. Oh God, the goal! It is basically a free kick that shouldn't have been a free kick on the left wing, our right back position, and just simple marking in the box. Nobody bothered. It was ridiculous. It was just a simple chip crossing, and the player just headed it in without anybody contesting the ball with him. It was just ridiculous. So that was pretty much the best chance. Well, of course, it's the best chance. It's the only goal they had, but they didn't have many chances during the game. We did actually dominate, but unfortunately, we could only get the one goal ourselves. And that is partly having a new formation on the pitch. But yeah, it was very positive. Like, I was very happy at the end of the game. Ultimately, it was just one mistake that cost us the 3 points. But yeah, to implement that formation in such a short space of time and get the reaction from the players that we wanted, yeah, it was a good feeling.
Yeah, and it was also on a positive note. I mean, what you just said there was pretty positive, but the debut of the elephant kit. How did we feel about that? I'm going to pull up on stream here of my boy Pooh. Looking good?
It was brilliant. It was brilliant. It's just a shame that throughout the whole season we only get to use it once, which is why I've said we should keep it for next season too. I mean, at the
100%.
most, we need to change the colours of it, keep the same design. But I say even that we don't really need to do, to be honest.
I do we need a new kit for next season when we've only worn it six times this season?
No, not
Like it
at
feels a
all.
bit like we can keep the three we've got now, no?
It's a waste of money, isn't it? Waste of time and money.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant kit anyway. We've barely used it. Let's keep it.
I've just ordered mine.
I think
Obviously,
the club want to give us one of the premium things about having the NFTs is being able to vote on the kit design. So the club don't want to take that away from us, but at the same time, maybe
yeah.
the vote
So you have
is
a vote
whether
to
we,
see if have a
yeah,
vote to see if we keep the
exactly.
kit. Yeah.
Because it is great to vote on that, but as you say, I think it's just such a waste to. I think, as I say, for time and money, they've probably got, X amount of these kits sitting in a warehouse waiting to be sold.
Yeah.
You always have an excess, so yeah, I say we keep it for next season, but we'll see what the rest of the
Yeah.
holders think.
Well, speaking of
I
votes,
agree.
on screen here, we've got the vote for that game, and I want to get you guys quick thoughts on it. So, first one is who plays as goalkeeper, right? This is one that pops up about once every season after film can get a little loose or unfocused. You guys think this went the right way? It was a unanimous vote to keep film over golf.
I don't
How'd
think
that play
it's
out?
a vote that's easy for us to make because the goalkeeping, we don't see golf. If we saw him in training to see
Yeah,
how good he was against film or what mistakes film was making in training and golf wasn't, and vice versa, then we can make a more like at the moment we're just making an educated guess. It's not really, and that's why we keep going for film because we don't really have the full details to know how good they are side by side. So you kind of go with what you know when it comes to goalkeepers. It's only when they start making drastic mistakes that you change it. I mean, look at the likes of Man United, Chelsea. They're swapping between various goalkeepers, and they're getting exactly the same results, if not worse. What do you
Any
think,
thoughts on
George?
that, Coach?
it's an interesting one. I think yeah, the goalkeeper's the last issue you want to change, but it's the biggest statement. And I don't think film has done anything majorly wrong to get replaced. So like look at Ipswich, we had Muric in goal half season, and he absolutely killed us. He should have got changed out quicker. And it's only you only want to change it when actually things are going wrong, in my opinion. And I don't think there's anything wrong to
Yeah, so the plus side is you
justify
guys
getting
at
swaps.
Ipswich, you found Palmer, who's been, oh,
Yeah,
I don't
but
want to
we
say
had
revelation, but he's been brilliant, isn't he? To the extent where other teams are looking at Palmer.
but we
So
had Walton as well that I thought was good enough. So it's sort of yeah, it's a weird
it's
one for
not to
me.
say that golf wouldn't come in and do a good job and even surprise us and perhaps
No,
become a fantastic player that we always do. But the other thing as well is in Thai football, a lot of these goalkeepers are smaller than us, height wise. And so film is probably 5'10", himself 5'11", so it's not tall, but there is a small goalkeeper is a rare occasion. Like an Ochoa, a Guillermo Ochoa or someone like that is 1 in 100 goalkeepers. So you do need that reach. I mean, look at Donnarumma. One reason Donnarumma is so good is because the guy's an absolute giant. Like he can reach every part of the goal without any with ease, you know, as where someone like Raya perhaps needs a bit more agility to reach those parts of the
yeah,
goal. So it's something that is worth thinking about. Like that metric of height and weight is important with goalkeepers.
Well, it's not really like golf is any bigger. So it was good to see film. You know, hindsight's 2020, but good to see him show up and play well in games 5 and 6. Uh, you know, light a little fire on him. This vote, though, also was a close one. Rarely do we actually have such a vote that is so close between Eek, who's had the position, and Beam, who ended up coming off the bench and was brilliant. Coach or Blue, which one of you? Why do you think this vote was so close? And did we get it right? Because Game 5 had a different performance, I think, than how Eek performed in Game 6. We'll get to that.
Well, George, you go ahead, mate, 'cause you've got some positive things about Eek. You like him, don't you?
yeah. My view was you like again. I think Eek's been one of the players of the season, and I think to drop in such a big game is a bit harsh for me. I think that was where I sort of my standpoint was Bean's been very good off the bench. Eek's been our player of the season. So what are you saying to Eek if now we're going to drop him in this game and start Beam? Like I get the confidence for Beam to come in, but it's sort of like why is Eek the one that goes out? Because he like for me again, Eek's not done anything wrong. I think he's been one of our better players, most positive players. Like he deserves a chance to start in that position and give it a go. And then I think like I don't think there's anything wrong. I think it was very good still. Again, Beam in the 60th minute can do his thing and did well.
Yeah, it's a bit
Uh,
disrespectful, really, to a player to just
yeah,
drop them for no reason, or not for no reason, but when they haven't done anything wrong. Because in the player's mind, they're working hard to get themselves into the first team. Once they get themselves into the first team, if they believe that they're doing their job well, and you drop them, it's not only going to damage their confidence, it's also going to damage their thoughts towards you. They're not going to
yeah,
trust you in the same way anymore. Eek was one of the reasons that we wanted to change to the new formation because he
yeah,
is a fantastic wide player. His crossing sometimes is great and sometimes it's not, but he has the abilities to be a proper wing back, and so it really is. It's his position to lose, I guess, is the way to put it. And yeah, Beam can come on and do great things, but he just hasn't. He hasn't earned. He hasn't quite earned it yet, where Eek has.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. All right, now let's get to the
Also,
last one
also one last
because,
point:
yeah,
Beam
please.
can play a multitude of positions, right? As where Eek is only a left wing back, so you can still bring Beam on in other positions, midfield, attacking midfield, even up front. So you can still use Beam in a formation without having to remove Eek.
Yeah, well said. Well
I
said.
think the thing for me as well, you start setting unneeded precedent. So say if you make that sub, it's sort of like I think we'll get to it later with Jew. It's like Eeks are looking, thinking, well, hold up, well, I've done nothing wrong. I'm getting replaced. Jew's made numerous mistakes and he's still getting minutes. So I think you've got to be careful on sort of how it looks on the outside as well.
Mm.
Yeah, so there's a bit of psychology here going into this as well.
A lot of
Confidence
it.
Yeah.
building,
Yeah, yeah.
trust in the players, trust in the coaches, trust in the holders, right? And that's not something you want to break. Well,
Yeah,
speaking of
and Eek's
changing,
on a lot.
yeah, no, I mean,
Go
and
ahead.
that's fair, right? There was significant change. We hinted on this, the new formation, and that means there's a back three now. So we had a vote on it. It was quite clear who the holders wanted, which was Nuang getting the start. Uh, was this the right decision for this game? And then, we can turn the page to game six after our sponsorship commentary. But, you can preview a little bit of maybe what happened in game six and maybe this was the wrong decision from the holders up front, or am I pontificating wrong?
He could be pontificating wrong, yeah. Your pontification could be incorrect. Um, so, yeah, I'm kind of torn on this one because Nuang is good at heading the ball, but he's absolutely atrocious at marking, which is one of the things that led to the goal that we conceded in this game. Some of the guys pitch side don't like Sanook so much. They call it what's it they call him? Like a Bambi on ice. But he's so young. I would almost rather give him the time and let him make the mistakes and learn the game. Um, so I'm really torn between this one, and obviously this played out in the last game anyway, and sort of so that this question kind of answered itself in the end. But there's an element of Snook where he looks like he's always ready to make a mistake because he's kind of gangly, but at the same time he is quite tall. He is very young. He will fill out, and it's just a matter of does everything that is he able to develop into the player that we want him to be. I think with him it's not the player that he is now, it's does he have good potential or does he not. If he doesn't have good potential, fair enough, well I'm happy to back off, but if he's got good potential, then I think he's worthwhile sticking with him and giving him some minutes.
Coach, what do you think? Choosing this back
I
three,
am just
what are you looking for?
I am just trying to find out if that three is me, and I'm pretty sure I voted Sanook to start, but I can't see my old votes. Can you see your old votes? You can't, can you?
I think I need to
Not
log in.
easily then. We'd have to go back around. It could well be, mate. It could well be. I mean, it's obviously not me because I've gone for the other ones because I've got more than three.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I think I'm 90% sure that three was me. Where is the
Well, that would make
But yeah,
sense because the way it played out, you were correct. So,
so yeah, it's just
yeah,
one of
yeah.
them.
The three that votes was me. Yeah, yeah, I just found it. Yeah, I'm a big like I, I don't know. I quite like Snoop when I've seen him. Again, like the defensive part, I'm not massively over like knowledgeable on. Um, with who I get confused with who is who at the back. I think we change it quite a lot. What I've seen this season, I think if you go through who started in defense this year, there's like what 6, 7 different players we've had, like Tua, uh, Tuit, Ju, Bass, Kun, Sanook, um,
Peak,
you've had quite a
Ram,
few. Yeah.
Jew.
So there's,
Did you say
we
Jew?
need. I think I said Jew. We need quite. I think we need consistency at the back. Is my
But the three's
Bass?
going
Is
to
Bass
give
one
us
of
that,
them?
isn't it? Yeah, Baz was the one that started sort of at right back at times very early on, and then he's
Jew?
played centre back.
No.
I like Baz.
Oh,
He's young, but he's got a lot of energy. He was
oh
what we,
yeah. I just think we
I was going to
need
say
we
in
need
an earlier
consistency at the
podcast we
back.
did talk about him, Baz. But yeah, we do need to be more
Um,
consistent. I think the three gives us that though, because then you don't have to worry about, oh, we've only got two, so we have to have a pairing. Now we can use more of those defenders, and we do have better um, options at centre back than we do at left back and right back. Not to say they're not good,
yeah.
we've got more options. We've got more players that play centre back.
Yeah, I just went with Snook. I think he's when I've seen him, he's been the better option in my opinion.
Well, at the
That's why
moment,
I've voted for him.
as I say, this plays out in the last game that we haven't got to, but for next season, I would say the three at the back would probably be Kuhn again, and then Tuit and Baz, and then the backups
Yeah.
would probably be Sanook.
Well, let's put a bow on this game. Two last talking points for us. First of all, it was Dew's first start, so seeing the young guy get a start was always great to see. The team played hard. That was interesting. That did not go to a vote. That was a coach's decision. So they clearly saw something in him. And then the last thing I'd like to say, passing to you guys, is I believe it was Den was actually crying after the game. The coach, he was so proud of the effort the team put in. Maybe it was some relief on changing the formation and just the stress of the moment. But Blue, what's your take on Den being emotional at the end of the game, knowing that it's game 5 and we still had one more to go?
I think it was Breeze, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, it just shows the amount of work they're putting in, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And that it matters to them that much. This is their lives. It's not just shits and giggles. They miss family events for this. So it's important to them. It means a lot.
Coach, what's your take on it?
Yeah, it's obviously emotional with like it could be a build up of lots of stuff, but I think it does show emotion that he does care and he's invested. Um, yeah, and I say it all the time as well that it would be nice to get like a post match. I know Mark does a little video, but it would be good to get a little post match thing from the coaches, even if it's like written up or translated, just to get their like perspective on it rather than just it being every week the same like Mark does a video, which is great. But it'd be nice for them to actually come on and have a bit more dialogue.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think this is probably something which we can develop as the club gets bigger. It's at the moment it's more down to the number of staff and the number of people that we need to do these things. It's just we as the club gets bigger, we'll be able to do. I mean, who knows? The club may end up employing us to do it. It could go any way you think. We in the end we're going to need more people to do more things. We're already we're not employed by the club, but we help the club out. We do stuff with the fans. We do stuff with this, that, and the other. They need people to actually start doing this, and it's something that we can sort of step into the void and help with. Is just getting that communication between the coaches and the fans. So if there is
Oh,
something that
definitely,
needs to
yeah.
be said, it can be sent to us, and we can always put it on Discord or something like that. As long as it's not in time, we can actually read it or whatever. But Tim does his best with the write ups and that which come up. But as you say, it's knowing the coach's thought process. It's knowing what they're thinking at the time because Tim's one of us, and already kind of know what he's thinking because he wears his heart on his sleeve anyway.
Yes, he does. We do enjoy his write-ups, and speaking of us all getting better, growing,
And we've all
right?
got
Want to
Tim's
thank.
write-ups on the screen right now. This is what we're using as part of our reference point is
Yep.
Tim's write-ups. They're not that we yeah, exactly as you show now. So um, they're an important part of what we do. Tim might sometimes feel a little bit forgotten with these and like he's just writing them for himself, but we do check them out.
No, absolutely. Right. And you spoke about the club getting bigger, having ambitions. Our podcast or vlog, whatever you guys want to call about this, thank you to this sponsorship, the Kicks app, because this allows us to continue to do what we're doing. For those that are new to the Kicks app, this is a football coaching companion app. It's got AI built in, it's got stats, it's got voice notes. I'm going to pass it over to George because I believe the club has actually started using it, not to its full capacity, but have started using aspects of it. So fill us in on how the club's using it, and then also about the sponsorship, what the Kicks app stands for.
Yes, it's quite nice. They used the app for the fifth game. I think it was they used the voice notes input, so they sort of spoke about the game while it was going on to give some feedback, which was quite nice. But yeah, sort of for me, where I think the club could benefit massively from is the stats input and the sort of like we said before, looking at the shots on target, looking at all that sort of stuff to see when we're doing the votes, we can then actually have a bit of input behind it. So then we can talk about Ninja had that many shots or they had that many shots, then we can say even
Who's getting the most dribbles?
the
Who's the most
defend
effective in a position?
defensive actions, that sort of thing. So we can actually then speak about the players in the votes and that sort of thing and look at it a bit more in detail um, in the seasons. And it goes, yeah, the stats is very useful, I think, for this sort of club at this level. And like I said, like Tim writes the reports manually, sort of thing. So what we can do is when you talk into it, we can actually generate you a report straight away. So it can if Tim is struggling or doesn't want to do it or can't fit it in, we can have that as a backup. We don't want to replace him because obviously what he does is great, but it does help if needed to come through it. So it's sort of I can like so we got the I'm able to sort of view. Oh, I don't know if you can see actually. Can you see that? You can't. Can you? It's too bright. Can you see it at
Right.
all?
But now it's full
Too
screen.
right. That's all right.
So it's sort of like a hard fought away clash against Sinvere Fraternity United battle, a 1-1 draw, marked by defensive lapses, strong midfield presence in the second half, resurgence despite going down by due to red card by Kun. The team showed resilience with Ninja grabbing a crucial equaliser, courtesy of Foods assists, and it sort of can give you a, a match port. Yeah, you can't even see. You see it now at all?
Oh,
Oh,
there you
there
go.
you go.
It's
There you go.
adjusted.
Yeah. I can see it.
So it can give you like a match port just by talking into it,
Yeah.
which can obviously
I mean,
can help in the future and that sort of thing.
the thing that I really wanted, and I think would have been such a good match, something that we really could have shown the difference between the two formations with this, is the opposition corners against. Because
Yeah,
the
yeah,
amount of corners that we were conceding earlier on in the season compared to now when we changed the formation, I really think that it's something you can look back on and say, look, this is then and this is now. So it's not just in the moment, it's something that you can look back on and go, okay, yeah, we can prove a point here and say that by changing this player or changing this aspect of our formation, it has worked because we can see it in statistics.
because that's where as the app we need more users to come on and sort of give more data because we want to have a system where if you go from a 3-5-2 to a 4-3-3, it will give you corresponding data. So it will say when you played the 3-5-2, this happened. When you played the 4-3-3, this happened. So
Yeah,
sort of the more data, the more users we can get to test and see how it works, the better.
yeah.
So I think the fact the club are buying into it and using it is a massive sign, and it sort of it will help the club and help sort of the app develop.
Yeah, exactly. You never know, you might find more clubs in Thailand using it, or even the under
Yeah,
18 setup or something like that, PSW.
Yeah, I think there's a
yeah, because
bigger
even
point
like the
here. Go ahead, George, please.
like the under 18, we can then when we're scouting them, we can go, oh,
Yeah,
who's got the most shots on target, who's got
100%,
the
mate.
like, we can go through stats.
Yeah, that would be really helpful actually. Especially if it came to something, or where we're talking about picking the goalkeepers. If we had some
Yeah,
sort of stats there that we could say, okay, they took 20 free kicks, 20 penalties, 20 whatever, and this is what happened, and it'd be a lot easier, even if it wasn't video form, it was just literally using the app um to count basically. But yeah, it does have. It's just. I think it's one of those things. Once you start using it, you'll find more and more uses for it, and be able to utilize it in
yeah,
more ways. but he's just getting people to actually start to use it. It's a lot easier than people think. When I tested it out, as you say, it's literally da 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 da, da, and it's done for you. You don't even have to
Yeah,
sort of like it's literally you just basically have to open it up. That's about the most you've got to do is open it up and tell it what formation you're playing. So yeah, it's definitely something that will help the team or help us holders a lot. That's the thing.
Yeah. No, I think that's the
There
big takeaway.
an army plane coming over, so I sorry about the noise. Jesus Christ.
We actually can't hear it. You've got some good noise block coming from your end.
Yeah, it's a
But all right, to put a
Hercules
bow on
going.
this, thank you to the Kicks app. Right, this is Game 5 and 6 recap. This is the end of this season. We hope that they stick with us for sponsorship for next year. Again, thanks to the club for listening, adapting, helping us. We want more stats so its holders can feel even more connected. I think this is just one great example. All right, now as we turn the page here, we have Game 6 to talk about. Game 6 started off with a single vote. It was again to who would be playing the back three. We'll talk about this one. The vote was unanimous, only 18 votes, but they did go with option number 1 with Baz on the left, 2 in the center, and the Sanook Project, who we were just talking about, who did not get the vote last in Game 5, gets it in Game 6. Let's talk about this
Yep.
one, then we'll talk about the starting 11.
Well,
I think for me,
go on,
sorry,
George.
go on.
No, go ahead, mate. It
For
was
me,
you picked Sanook. It's your guy. Go on,
Yeah,
you
that
go.
was well done.
it was it was more of not having Jew, if that sounds horrible.
Yeah, of course. No, you're right.
That was the sort of that was my sort of going about it of yeah, I don't think Duke after what happened in the previous game and start like I said before, it's sort of rewarding players to keep playing rather than sort of trying again with other players.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's well said. I think that one was clear cut. We were all on the same page, and we'll pop into the starting 11 for Game 6, the final game of the season. Over to you, Coach. What stuck out to you about this? It looks like there was a lot of continuation, especially up top with Aeon and Ninja starting to form that partnership at the top of the formation. Anything stick out to you about the starting 11?
Did Ram start the previous game? Did he? No,
Oh,
did Ram start the previous game?
Let's see. Game he
Who did he
did
replace
not. I think
Oh,
it was Do. Did Do get the boot? Let's see.
so I
Here.
think Seagame came in for Do, and I think if I'm not wrong, Mbappe came out for Ram.
so Mbappe
Yep.
injured was he?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, he was.
No, I said this is
But
this
we're
game
gonna
I've not
start calling
watched
him
yet.
Blast Man.
So yeah, it's crazy. So I haven't got the most input for this one, but I think yeah, it was a good enough 11 that we shouldn't be losing, in my opinion. So the players
Yeah.
we've got available and like that 11 there was good. And I sort of I mentioned in Discord like Zorro, like I think I was quite keen to see him. I don't think he's played all year, is he? I haven't seen him.
But he
He's come
hasn't
on a
played
sub a couple
enough,
of
no.
times.
But it's
No,
difficult for him
so I
to
think
get
he
in the
was
team when you've got Ninja, Aeon, and Foe, isn't it?
yeah. But I think there's and there's only 6 games, so it's hard to sort of
But
get him
I
minutes.
think
But I
this
think he's one
probably
I'm
also,
excited for.
George, I think this probably comes back to what we were saying earlier in the season about not having subs at the right
Yeah,
time or not using
yeah,
enough of them. Had they have done that earlier, we would have seen more of Zorro. Then he works his way into the team, into the votes. So I do think that that is something which we push for, and I think we continue to push for, is earlier subs. And then we get
yeah,
to see these
100%.
players a bit more. But yeah, the other one, C game, was a young midfielder who's come in. Seems pretty good. But yeah, as you say, with this team, we're pretty much full. What team that we'd recognise, except for Ram, who's been a little bit in and out, seems like a very decent and capable right winger and potential right wing back as well. As I say, Seagame is one of the many centre midfielders who are coming through from the academy, and he looks pretty good. A couple of games earlier on, he looked a bit lost, but I think the older he gets and just the more experience he gets, the better he'll get.
Do you think part of that to our earlier conversation was about the U18s having their own games, their own tournament? I know he got some run in that helps him build the confidence and form for the big boy
I'm
club.
sure. I'm sure. I mean, it's also for the coaches, like George will tell you. It would give him, as a coach himself, it would give him confidence to start a player if he's seen him in an under-18s tournament or something beforehand, rather than just seeing him in training.
Definitely.
All right, well, I would like to talk about one aspect of this game. We won't harp on it too much. It was all the rage in the Discord afterwards. For those that didn't have a chance to watch it, it was a 2-2 score, sloppy pitch, tons of rain. It was a back and forth game. You could say in the end that the other team maybe deserved it more than us, but that's neither here or there. The major talking point coming out of this one is going to be this clip. So I'm going to roll clip for about 45 seconds, and then we'll go ahead and talk about it. The volume is off, so you guys feel free to commentate as we go ahead and watch this.
So that's Ian Beale on the ball. That's Aon with number
Don't
10.
get this part. When who is it? Is it Jew that comes flying across?
That's Jude that comes into it now.
What was science kicked his head? He just
And
lost
then
it.
Nuang round the back with a bandage on his arm because he fell off a motorbike during the week. That's Den coming out.
There's the kick on the far left side of the screen.
But what? So is he? Has that 23 wind him up? Been like a normal game or something? What's happened then?
Well, he could have been.
So I
But
couldn't.
Jew wasn't even on the pitch all game. He'd only come onto the pitch about 5 minutes before that as a sub.
Like you
There's
see,
Jew.
like Jew is coming in flying.
Yeah,
He's not even.
He's trying to get the guy.
I've never seen him run so fast.
So then look around the back. You've got Nwang with the bandage on his arm. He'll start working his way around the back. Actually, Baz at this point is got the captaincy on, and he's trying to break it up. He's trying to pull Jew back. Bearing in mind, Baz is essentially a young kid. Jew is our club captain since the very inception of Futera, probably in his late 20s, maybe his early 30s at the most. It's just such a bad look. Like, it's unnecessary. It's not even his fight to have, if you know what I mean. It's not him. He's not captain. I mean, you paused it there. You can see Noang, who is a full-time international. So let's say someone like Peter Crouch or someone that's actually played for England and therefore should have temperament and the wherewithal to not do something so stupid.
I have a probably controversial take on this. Is that if you do that, you know you're getting sent off. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to take that player off as well. Like, if you're gonna kick the player, you've got to make sure he is injured and he can't play anymore. But to do that and he stays on, that like Joey Barton. If you're gonna do it, you've got to do it 100% and take the player with you. Like Joey Barton
It's like
for
we were
Man
saying
City.
about them diving in. If you're going to dive in, you need to take the player with the ball.
But in that moment, if you're kicking him in the chest, you've got to like he's got to come off injured afterwards. Like the fact they didn't even go down, it's like you've wasted it. Like you've got a red card now. Like well done. Like we're now down to 9 players. What are you doing?
Like, yeah. It's throwing a punch into thin air, but you're still throwing a punch. Even if you didn't have any, even if you were never intending to connect with a person, if you go to throw it just to try and prove your point, well, you've already given the referee all he needs. This isn't
but
out the street.
Like Jew's like the referee's holding Jew back, which I think is like at least again controversial. At least the other guy's gone round the back, not to be seen and done it. You know what I mean? But Jew is doing it with the ref holding him.
Yeah.
And it's like you're making it so obvious that you want to get sent off.
He's lost his head. He's absolutely lost his head. It's not even like if Den, right? So Den is like a little bit of a Thai legend, right? He's played against Liverpool with the Thai national team, so he's done all the things that they would want to do, right? His level of respect that Den has in Thai football is right up there. If Den's coming out and telling you to stop, you fucking stop. You don't question it. That breaks whatever that was going on breaks it immediately. You go, oh, shit, yeah, okay, sorry. It doesn't, and it's almost like if you're going to be disrespectful to Den, then you're done anyway. Like, and I'm not saying that he was disrespectful to Den there, but I'm saying that he should have really calmed down quicker. it's really not easy to explain what happened with him. Like I cannot understand what happened with him. Apparently, this referee was actually under suspension before this game. For
He seemed shocking though, like
yeah,
from
he
what
was
I
shocking. He couldn't
snippets
control
I
the game
watched.
at all. He couldn't control the game. It's partly why this happened is because he was letting so much of the niggles and the different sort
Yeah,
of like
Jew kept
little
getting taken
scrap.
out. Jew kept. I mean, they were nibbling at Jew since he came on the pitch, so it was a lot of frustration. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
doesn't
it was
excuse it, but
no, no, it's yeah, it was just ridiculous. No, no, I didn't do anything. No, you didn't.
that clap there is proper winds me up.
yeah, the guy felt like he got away with it. He's so
Yeah,
excited. This was well deserved as well.
but no, but this is what I don't get though. I don't get the explanation for the red there though. The refs made this single like I don't. Yeah, I'm not sure
It's
what
not
he's like.
clear.
You know what I
Yeah, yeah,
mean?
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
think he knows what he's giving it for.
Well, it did take them quite a while to decide what they were going to do.
Yeah, at least 3 minutes. I fast forwarded it,
It
but at
wasn't.
least 3 minutes.
It wasn't a quick decision at all. I do think he missed a lot of it. I think he was. You see in the Premier League that the referee will step back and basically let it happen. It's partly because it's not
Because
his job to get hit,
he's got
and
too
he has to
involved.
move.
I completely
Yeah,
agree with you. Completely
yeah.
agree.
And then he would have been able
As a
to
ref,
keep
you have
it
to
happen.
move away, watch it, and then decide. Whereas he's
Mm.
got involved, and yeah,
I mean, what Nguyen can say, oh, he did this, he did that. He doesn't, if that is what he's saying, but he's got no argument about him being sent off.
yeah. If the ref's seen it, he has to go. Simple as that.
Mm. You see Den at the bottom there talking to Breeze. Now, surprisingly, we actually played quite well when they went off.
We did. Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say we actually
I
did.
would have been quite annoyed if I was the opposition to, is it Lotbury? Yeah, Lotbury to if I was Lotbury and I hadn't actually scored that third goal with 11 versus 9, yeah, I would have been quite annoyed.
Well,
But for me, right, this is basically what we're going to get onto here. Is for me, this is the end of two careers with Futera. So Nwang, we've tried him in two different positions. We would leaving him there for experience and helping young players, being a good example. Well, he's clearly not, is he? So there's no
No.
reason for him to be at the club. I mean, aside from what he's actually done there as a player, he doesn't deserve to be at the club anyway anymore. I don't believe. And then what he's done there, you can easily sack a player for that. As I said off stream before, I think it's one of those things that brings the club into disrepute. So you can probably take someone out of their contract just by that. Jew, I, I, we don't need him as a captain for sure. And I don't really see the point in like we need to rip the band-aid off. At some point, he's got to go over the next couple of seasons anyway. Let's just get it over and done with and move on because we've got another season potentially in this Teaspoon League. So we may as well just get it over, have some of the young guns come through and prove themselves alongside Ian Beale, and be better for it afterwards.
We've definitely got players that can come in that are not not better, but I think want it more. I think we've got a core of a team that's very good and should be playing higher. We've got a few gaps that we sort of I spoke at the start of the year about where's our most vulnerable. And I think like we can see attacking wise, I think we're set. I think there's no signings need to be in the attack. I think we're very good there. I think midfield, a couple of good signings just to fill some holes. And then
Mm.
defensively, I think we need a couple of very, very good defenders, in my opinion. I think
Well,
that
I
is where
always
we
liked
struggled.
Win. So I really liked Win. Every time I saw him, I thought he looked absolutely brilliant. He can play right back, he can play centre back, he can play the right centre back for three. He's a big guy, the coaches don't like him apparently, and I cannot work out why. Because I saw him and I thought he was really good. I like he's my starting right centre back if he's fit. But he had an injury. Firstly, he was called up for the army, and he had an injury, which basically meant he was out for the entire season, even though it was only a tiny injury. It wouldn't, you know, it's because we got 6 season injury, 6 game season. Sorry, is why he was out so for the season. It's just, yeah. So I really like Win. I think he's a great player, but I don't know. It's difficult to say
Injuries seem a big topic as well. I think we're getting a lot of injuries, which I don't get
because
why.
they're playing for 4 teams. They're not just playing for us. They're playing for uh, 7-a-side team and a 9-a-side team and another
But are
indoor
they not under
team and
contract
a
for us though?
futsal team.
No.
I don't quite know the extent of the contract, and I don't quite know how much they want to restrict the players in terms of taking away money because they're earning money through these other teams.
They're not earning money for us then either.
Well, they're earning money from us, but it's just
Like but
we
that's when the
giving them enough
contract it should
money.
say but if you get injured playing for another team, then you shouldn't be getting like your pay for us should be going away.
My argument for
Like
years, but since the start has been, or since I found out that they were playing for other teams, was that if you don't have an off season, then you never recover.
yeah. I'm saying if they pick up an injury on a Tuesday night at their 7-a-side league, they shouldn't be getting paid by us until they're back fit.
Maybe whilst our season is going on, they're not playing, or that's
Yeah,
something in the contract for that. But still, once again, I still think my point before stands that if you don't get an off season, you don't recover.
yeah, 100%. Yeah.
It's fun. Like at the moment, there are too much like players in the park. It's fun to go and play football on AstroTurf at the weekend or on a Wednesday night or something. That's not what we're doing.
100, yeah. I think, yeah,
And
there
and
needs to be
that's one of the
questions
points
asked.
that Tim keeps making. If you hear Tim on the commentary getting quite angry, you'll hear him saying, "Do you not want to be professional players? Do you not want this? Do you
Yeah,
not
yeah.
understand what we're doing here?" Um, and that's the point. It's like,
But I
yeah, at
think,
the moment
but
they
you can
might
see
be.
it, but a lot do want it though. Like I think a lot of
Yeah,
them
yeah, yeah.
have
Like I said,
got that. I think it's
90%
just
do.
like I
Yeah,
said, there's a few like I think attacking wise, I think we're set. Like no, if you think like you've got Fu, Ninja, Aeon, Beam, Eek, like you forward line, we're very set, I think. And then midfield, I think we've got what two or three that could come in and do a job. And I think Ian Bill is very good.
yeah,
Um,
We'll see Beam
that's probably the
grow
only one.
into it.
That's the only one that I would say is a guaranteed play next season, in my opinion, in midfield.
yeah, yeah. I could see that. I mean, we're
And
not,
then
as you say, we're not counting Aeon as midfielder. We're not counting
you
Foot.
know
Call
it'd be
them
attack. Yeah,
forwards.
they'd be attack wise players.
But as
Like
that
you got
two
Mbappe
central,
forward. Like
no, I'd say I don't. He wants to be, but whether he is or not. But yeah, I agree. Ian Bill is basically the engine of the team, and we're lucky to have him. And I think he was probably player of the season this season. He was probably player of the season last season. I would just moaned and didn't give it to him. Um,
Yeah,
but
Taku.
yeah, Beam can come in. I don't know if Beam can play central midfield. I don't, because I think he'd actually be quite good there. It's obviously it's having that defensive nous, like knowing how to play the position. But I think that is it just ramming another player in that you want to play kind of thing. I think it probably is. I agree with you in terms of centre midfield. Ian Beale, you're not going to find anyone better than that in that
yeah,
position. Like he's a box to box midfielder with an engine that doesn't stop. So we just need to find, for me, we need somebody that's perhaps a little bit more creative and slightly more uh, going to hold their
Physical.
position a bit more.
All right.
Or just
Well,
somebody that's going to hold their position in the centre of the park a bit more and let Ian Beale run after the ball and
yeah.
press.
what we do have on the screen here, I think we talked
I'm
nicely, Job,
ashamed of
about
it.
Game 5, Game 6. Game 6 was sloppy, you know, a lot of drama. I did appreciate Mark's comments in the Discord, the
Yeah,
video
yeah.
after. He wears his hearts on his sleeve. He's very
Mm.
transparent with us. I I don't think that could be overlooked. That's really nice. He responded
Or
to every
overstated.
single one of your messages, Blue, that you had your after the thoughts, individual thoughts with each one. So I thought that was quite nice. Any comments on that?
It's Mark's life. It's Mark's put a lot of personal money into this. Like he doesn't Mark's never told anybody about this, and it's not something he's hiding, but he puts his own personal wages and everything else into this club. He doesn't just put his heart and his soul and everything else in. Like he lives and breathes this club, but he's also, if anything needs to be paid for a coach or whatever, it's not even a question. So, without Mark, this wouldn't work. But as you say, he wears his heart on his sleeve, and it can't be overstated. The sort of like effort and emotion he puts into this. Um,
Definitely.
and sometimes we feel sorry for him because of the amount of pressure that there is on him comparatively to us and some of the other people. And it's basically because if this is a seesaw with us on one end and the team at the other end, Mark is the pivot. Mark is what everything moves on. So, and he is under a lot of pressure with this as well. So, you know, we appreciate him probably more than he realizes, but he does a lot more than we even realize for the club. So it wouldn't run without the likes of him and do not the player, the person who also does a hell of a lot of work with paperwork and that behind the scenes. But back to the table that's on there. I mean, I'm ashamed of that. We all are. 6 games, 9 points, -1 the goal difference. And that's basically because we've done an Arsenal and been like 1-0 wins if we've had wins, and then we lost 4-0 on one of the games. So we destroyed our goal difference over 6 games. In some of the earlier seasons, we might have scored 10 goals a game. It just shows partly, I think, in some respects, it is more of a mental thing for me with the team than it is even a ability thing. So yeah, next season, I want a lot better for the team. I don't want to say expect because it's a bit of a thing to say, but I want a lot more for the team and I want a lot more for the supporters.
Well, we are going to get talking about next season uh, because there's rumors about promotion, rumors not about promotion. We don't really, we don't want to speculate, but we've heard different
Oh
things.
no, no, we want to
What I
speculate.
would like to say is that when we look at this table, 9 points, holding on, down 2 men in that last game is the reason why that happened. And Lomburri, I believe, gave up a very late goal. And so Mark said that walking out in a press conference, hey, he was really upset. But the silver lining is we did get third to give ourselves a chance. Is there anything else that you took out of, Mark's conversation about the importance of third place, Blue?
Oh, it's just really to do once again with the way that the Thai Football League works, because you've got a lot of teams that uh, they don't want to be promoted for various reasons. I mean, higher up, it could be because they're a university team and they don't want to be in one of the higher leagues. Uh, but sometimes I don't get their paperwork in time. Sometimes their paperwork's incorrect. Sometimes they don't pay their bills. A lot of the time they don't pay their bills. So you end up with not only two or three clubs getting relegated out of a league, you'll get one or two clubs getting kicked out of the league because they haven't paid their players, or they haven't paid their league bills or the stadium bills or whatever it might be. In which case, the league above will be scrambling for second and third position of our league to fill those gaps. So there is always the possibility, and that's why it's been very important that we've been ready from day one. So at the start of the season, we've got our paperwork in for the next league up, and we've had all our other bits and pieces, all our ducks ready in a line, ready to go, sort of thing. And the other clubs haven't done that, so it's just basically being ready and having your pieces in place to be promoted. So there is still a slim possibility, and it's more through technicalities.
Hey, but that's credit to management, right? To putting us in a position for
Yeah, good
success.
management, good club
Yeah.
management.
George, we got on the screen here, we got the table back up. Thoughts from you?
I don't know if you want my thoughts. I've been disappointed. It's probably where I sit the most with the team we had and the chance we had to go up, I think it's.
We blew it.
But it's also I remember like on a dog walk, I was writing about like the formation. We need to do this. Like this is what I think we should do, and it was all the same replies of, "We're winning. Don't touch on the works." And it was like no, but like it's not gonna. And then it, yeah, and it's that thing of like I just wish hindsight is a beautiful thing, and I
For you,
think
it's a
we
little bit
had
like the Titanic. You watched the iceberg coming, and you could see it coming, but nobody would turn the ship. Like, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and it was like because you like the thing is the forward players we had they were so good, and we were not getting anything out of them, and it was like yeah, and it was just I think like we should have won this league with the players we had, the momentum we had, and I think it was just yeah for me disappointing is the takeaway for the season. I think next year hopefully like I'll be involved earlier and from this season, so maybe it's got a bit more we can pre-season and do a bit more
We can build. We can,
planning and
yeah.
have different formations, different systems, and that sort of thing. I'm excited to see how next season if we go up, what it looks like. If we don't go up, go in next season and actually like
Well, you're
from
helping
pre-season having a good go.
turn this into what I always wanted it to be, which is real life football manager. Because
Yeah,
you're a coach, official coach, and I'm just a shit talker. I You're able to explain things that I can't, which means that when it comes to talking about different formations and stuff like that, apologies if you can hear the starlings in the background. I don't know if you can or not. The fledglings have just come out. Basically, now we're able to talk about formations more in depth. The coaches are able to take that on board. All these other different things. We're going to be able to play Football Manager real life next season with these different formations, with the different bits with the app, the Kicks app. It's turning into the project on a whole that we wanted it to be from the start. Not that it hasn't been, but we just got to add these little bits in as we go along. We can't have just come in and be like, wham, it's just one big thing. So it's too much to manage. As each individual comes in and we're all adding our little bits and pieces, whether it be sort of plants doing this, like, without plants, we wouldn't be able to stream here right today. So each of us adding these little bits, I'm just basically helping manage the community, helping bring people together, helping us do this as well. Like the podcast is like, you have forced us to do the podcast with your knowledge and said, look, guys, we can do this. So we're all adding different bits. And by adding different bits to the club, we create a whole. And
yeah,
so next season it becomes even more sort of we're able to build upon that once again and just stack bricks upon bricks upon bricks. And so your knowledge is increasing our clout as holders because we as holders we can now explain through you what we want to do or what we would like to achieve. So
yeah.
appreciate you, George.
Appreciate you, mate. Well said. I was yeah. There's not much to end it there, Blue. Plants. That was fucking spot
Well,
on, wasn't it?
no, that was
He
perfect.
definitely ain't taking the piss there, is he?
No, no, and I learned what that phrase was. So look at me growing. All right, so we just passed the hour mark. We're gonna wrap
Yeah,
this
we'll
thing
put
up.
on it. Let's do this. Yeah,
I want to
That is a
show on
perfect
this.
bow. That is well said.
I want
big
to
love.
make sure we're adding on. I mean, I think that was a really positive note, but I just want to brag a little bit for folks at home. I got my Futera jersey on here. Also on the back
In
side, that
Athens,
custom
in
plants
Greece,
jersey in Greece. This was from Sunday.
the
You
city of
know,
sports.
after the loss, but I want to brag on myself. I am officially and unofficially the all-time leader in fan points from wearing Futera jersey around the world. So
You're just
this
trying to
is my
show those
contribution to the
tight
club.
buns off.
Uh, that's not the intent there. It's about the actually it's a terrible heart. I didn't even realize that. Um, yeah, terrible
I do
heart
love that
there.
shirt. I love the shirt though. I do wear the gold one quite a lot with the Thai sky scene on it. I think when we look back, that's going to be like one of those epic shirts in Futera history.
Yeah, I think so. All right, Blue. You get some final words here, and then we're gonna pass it off to Coach to close down episode 9, Game 5 and 6 recap. Blue?
Yep, it's might be the end of the season. It's not the end of the podcast. We'll come back, well, with another interview, hopefully with Gail Basana later this week or next week. And let's say pre-season, which could be quite a while away, but we might have some news updates in the meantime. So you might not see us quite so frequently in the next few months, but we'll wait and see. We may have sort of some tournaments, under 18s tournaments that we can come back and talk about. But yeah, once it comes to pre-season, we'll get rolling again, and we'll get involved and see if we can get some holders and some people involved in these streams and see what they think about formations and whatnot.
Well said. Coach takes away.
I've I've got nothing else to add after Blue's amazing dialogue. So I'm excited for next season. I'm excited to try and grow the team and keep the podcast growing and make it bigger and spread the name of Futera United. And then yeah,
Susu.
Susu.
All right. Susu. Thanks everyone for joining in. Until next time.
Yep.
Susu.
Susu.